How do I, 49F, tell my chronically ill partner, 48M, our 30-year relationship has died? I, 49F, have been with my partner, 48M, for 30 years. We have a teenage kid who is autistic and has learning difficulties. There has always been an imbalance in our relationship in terms of domestic, financial responsibilities and overall mental load. Over time I found myself the default responsible person seemingly in charge of everything. I thought, perhaps naively, this would change when our child came along and we would divide parenting, domestic and financial responsibilities more equally. However, I ended up doing exactly the same amount of physical, mental and emotional labor as pre-kid times, plus covering 90% of regular parenting responsibilities, plus all the additional parenting and support our child needs due to their learning difficulties and neurodivergence. My partner took a long time to accept and begin adapting to our child's autistic nature and learning difficulties. My partner may potentially be neurodivergent too, and their personalities and needs have always clashed and steadily worsened over time. My partner has been chronically unwell for the last 9-10 years and they have been unable to work at all for the last 5 years. When I'm not working at my job, I'm a carer for my partner and child, and fully responsible for all aspects of our lives. We can just about survive on my salary and the small amount of disability benefit he gets. As my partner's health has declined, what little he was doing to help with domestic responsibilities, finances, parenting etc. has ceased. I'm now fully responsible for keeping all aspects of our family show on the road, plus caring for and supporting him. This includes support on a practical basis, as well as trying to weather his palpable moods of depression, frustration and anger about his change in health. My partner is genuinely chronically unwell and his conditions are serious. However, he does not take good care of himself in terms of diet, exercise, chasing up doctors and treatments etc. This exacerbates his conditions and symptoms, putting even more pressure on me. I try being more involved and encouraging with this side of things, but this was deemed as unwelcome interference. Whenever I try to discuss feelings, emotions of our relationship, he shuts down. As my partner's health has declined, so did his patience and capacity to parent, support and accommodate our child. My partner and child are both aware of the rift that's grown between them. My partner has made some attempt to reconnect and repair the relationship between them. However, his efforts are inconsistent depending on his mood and his health on any given day. Meanwhile, our child has confided in me that they feel like the relationship with their father is irreparable and he is a parent in name only. Our child has also expressed concern about my health and well-being. They've noticed the imbalance in our home life, how overworked I am in all areas of life, and are worried this is harmful and unsustainable for me. They are, of course, 100% correct. Our family life as stand is unsustainable. For the last 5 years I've been trapped in a cycle of barely coping and burnout. I had to take a 6-month leave of absence from my job a few years ago because I was unable to cope anymore. A year ago I could feel myself slipping into burnout territory and spoke with my husband about how unhappy, stressed and burned out I was feeling. I communicated it felt like he had given up on himself and our family, and I asked him to please fight for himself and us. He was receptive and agreed for us to work on things. He would try to look after himself better, push the doctors for more support, treatment. However, his efforts, from my perspective, have been minimal. 18 months later I'm back in burnout and had to resort to another period of leave from work for exactly the same reasons. I am realizing now that the leave of absence from work is a sticking plaster. I can't afford to give up work from a security and financial perspective. This is probably the last leave of absence I can take without risking my job too. During this current leave of absence I know I have to make some lasting changes and implement sustainable systems in my life to stop this cycle of burnout from reoccurring. I even said this to my partner 2 months ago. However, nothing has changed. Every day sees me struggling to meet everyone's needs and keep the wheels on. Meanwhile, he sits on the couch or lays in bed watching TV shows, playing games on his phone, gaming console, or doom-scrolling. Our child continues to find their interactions tricky, grating, and hardly comes out of their room. I feel like every day a little more of me gets chipped away trying to maintain our family unit. For my own sake, and that of our child, I think my partner and I need to separate. They say they don't know what they'd do without me. But if I keep going as I have, there will be no more me left. I love my partner dearly, but it's just not enough anymore. I'm done. It feels like such an asshole move to end the relationship when my partner is chronically unwell. However, I need to make sure that I'm protecting my health and well-being so I can look after our child who will likely need care and support throughout adulthood. I'm a confrontation-averse people pleaser, so the innate desire to just suck my feelings back in and repeat the masking, burnout cycle is making me feel unhinged. How do I tell my partner how I'm feeling and that I think our relationship has died without devastating him? You say, You say you don't know what you'd do without me. But if I keep going as I have, there will be no more me left. And that makes me feel angry, sad, tired, used, beaten, forgotten, all the words. The question isn't how to tell him. The problem is that you have told him this several times. He cares enough to make small efforts here and there, but he has no real reason to change because you keep talking and not really making these changes. He doesn't know what he'd do without you because he's never had to. If you leave, he will have to. I mean, he's 100% dependent on you, so there's no way to make this easy for him. The question you should be asking yourself is, why do you care about that? He's always let you carry the majority of the load, even when he was much more able to do his share, he didn't. Stop putting his needs and feelings before your own, and go ease your burden. He's a grown adult who will have to learn how to adult now. Better late than never. I say this as someone who is a woman and within a few years of you, but, girl, we have to start looking out for our own health at our ages. This is the age our cohorts start dropping dead from heart attacks, strokes and other stress-induced medical emergencies. We aren't 20 years old and made of rubber anymore, you know? Things like that happen. And then what would happen to your son? I would look at this situation through the lens of survival, because that's what it has become. You're surviving, not living. And if the stress keeps up at this level, in a few years, you won't be alive at all. Let him be devastated. He was warned repeatedly for years. You must focus on yourself and your son now. My ex had chronic health conditions. He also neglected his health more and more over the years, which exacerbated his conditions. The worse they got, the harder he was to deal with. He took a lot out on me, and all my caretaking couldn't keep up with all his neglect. I look back on that time and I wonder how I made it out. There is no easy way out. You are entitled to a life of your own. You will never feel ready to leave, and you will ever get better. Rip off that band-aid. After I left, I saw that my staying enabled him to neglect himself. Once he realized I wasn't coming back, he started to take care of himself until he found another caretaker. I was in my 40s when I left, so I get the sunk costs and feelings of obligation and guilt. Occam's razor. You just tell him. You aren't his mother. And while I understand he is unwell, it sounds like this started before his health got bad. You can't drag this out either way. It sounds like it's damaging your kids and you to a point you are constantly drained and not enjoying life. Prioritize yourself for once. How do I tell my partner how I'm feeling and that I think our relationship has died without devastating him? You're already devastated and he has done nothing to help. He's an adult, he has been warned multiple times, let him deal with his own devastation. You need to face the fact that this is going to be a confrontation and he is not going to be pleased, but you have to start advocating for yourself. I need to make sure that I'm protecting my health and well-being so I can look after our child who will likely need care and support throughout adulthood. And also because you deserve to be happy. You certainly deserve to not be miserable. The only person who can make that happen is you. I, 38 female, am getting remarried to 42 male, son is not happy. How do I handle? My, 38 female, husband passed away 4 years ago when my now 14-year-old son was 10. We all took it hard, of course. 2.5 years later I met a man and we started dating. About a year later he proposes to me and I say yes. The wedding is in about a month. It's the second marriage for the both of us and we are keeping it pretty small. Nothing lavish or fancy. He has no kids. I still live in the same house and he plans to move in with us. My son is polite to my fiancé but otherwise keeps his distance. My fiancé wants a relationship with him and is trying his best to connect with him while also respecting his space. I think he's done a good job so far. I've talked to my son about the wedding. He agreed to walk me down the aisle. My fiancé asked if he would be his best man. His only request was that he wanted to stand on my side. We said of course. I thought everything was going well. Last night my son comes to me and says he doesn't want to go to the wedding anymore. I ask why. He starts crying and says, I miss Dad. Then he says, I don't want to watch you kiss and be happy with another man. I just want my dad back. I want our family back. I don't care about fiancé's name. He just kept crying and I let him sleep with me last night. I don't know what to do. I guess I'm not going to force him to go and have him resent me. It's just after years of being sad I'm finally happy again sometimes. I've just been sitting here crying thinking about how my son won't be there for my special day and how he probably doesn't even want me to get married. I talked to my fiancé. He didn't say much. He was disappointed but just said whatever I wanted to do he'd support me since it's my kid. I hate that I feel like I'm forcing my kid to move on when he's not ready. Has your son seen a therapist at any point since his father died? That is a lot to process for a kid. He has expressed to you he wants his dad back and likely feels like your fiancé is going to try to replace his dad. It's so important for you to reassure him that is not going to happen. Grief counseling or therapy would be a great option to help him deal with his feelings. I would never marry someone without making sure he does well living with my kid. So many situations come up for the first time only after living together. I would delay the wedding a year and live together in the meantime to make sure he treats your son well. Half of your problem isn't only the language you are using, it's validating how he feels when you use it. It's your special day, and believe me, he knows it. It's the day he feels you get to stop loving his dad. It's the day where you officially move on from your husband and your son to find a new partner that is not either of them. It's the day where he gets to live in the moment that he has been trying to escape since his dad died. The fact that everyone is moving on with their lives and there isn't a damn thing he can do about it. Your deceased husband has been dead and buried for years, but to your son this is what buries him for good. Did you reassure your kid that this marriage doesn't replace his dad? He doesn't want to see you be happy with someone else, so that seems like an apt time to say that if you could have things your way, you would still be with his father too. But that unfortunately, life just didn't work out that way. But it's sort of like loving more than one dessert. Cookies and cake are different and delicious. Has he been to therapy or grief counseling? Therapy. Seriously, if your son hasn't been in therapy, and also the two of you together, I would hold off the wedding for a while until progress is made. So, instead of pumping the brakes on a wedding that, quite frankly, feels really quick, your response is, bummer, my kid won't be there. I can see why he's upset. Do you have a habit of putting your fiancé before your kid? My 30th girlfriend got an affair with her friend while I, 29M, was next to them. I've been close to 1 year with my girlfriend. Not long ago, I set up a pool party for her birthday with all of her close friends, and at the end of the night, mostly everyone leave except 2 of her friends. We were chilling in the pool, and couple minutes after she start kissing one of her friend passionately for a long time and start fingering and eating themselves. I try to come close to participate, but they totally ignored me and I just leave and come inside the house. I talk about it with a friend and I didn't know how to react. After 20 minutes I just step out and ask her I was about to end our relationship if she continue, and I leave the party to go home. I don't know how I should react. The next day she said she was sorry, was crying and told she was drunk and couldn't control her. She said this won't happen again and that she loved me. This moment still haunts me and I don't know if I should just leave her or get over it. I still love her, but I needed to talk to someone of this. What would be my next option at this point and how to get over it to forget about that? Alcohol is just an excuse. She cheated in your face and ignored you. Have some self-respect and leave. Imagine what she does when you're not standing there watching her. In front of you is crazy, leave her. She's 30, not 16, meaning she must be fully aware of what happens when she's drunk. She was probably fully aware of what was going on while she was drunk as well. She is fully aware of what it means to start having sex with another person that isn't you. She must be fully aware of what it meant to ignore you when you tried to join and she ignored you. She must be fully aware of what it meant to keep going at it when you left. She must be fully aware of what it meant when you came back, told her you were breaking up if she didn't stop, and yet she kept going nonetheless. This is just a garbage person who'll treat you like garbage as long as you stay in this relationship. This has to be rage bait. Leave her. My husband, 59M, told me, 45F, he's going to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Backstory. Married 6 years. Started as LDR. Relationship moved very quickly. No children. My husband is retiring in a few weeks. A few weeks ago he told me that he's going to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He also said he's not going to be tied to the house and not going to be asking permission before he does anything, and he's going to be traveling without me. He also made a point to say, I am going to be volunteering without you. It was almost like he was throwing a rebellious fit. Needless to say, this caught me off guard. Honestly, it was fucking bizarre. It came out of nowhere. Years ago when we discussed plans for retirement, we discussed traveling together, volunteering together, buying an RV and hitting the open road. We made plans for all the things we wanted to see and do. Fast forward to a few weeks ago and I have no idea who this man is. These comments came out of the blue. He sat me down and he had a list. He also said, he's going to live life with or without me. I've never discouraged him from having hobbies, solo interests, etc., and absolutely have never said we need to give each other permission to do things. I've always said we need to treat each other with courtesy, respect, and communicate plans. When I tried to talk to him about why he was making these statements, what's changed, etc., he got mad, defensive, and rolled his eyes. It was end of discussion. 2 of his closest friends just retired. One is recently divorced, the other is in a relationship but treats her very badly. He's not talking to me about it. He gets mad, gets annoyed, frustrated, impatient. It's clear he wants me to stay quiet and deal with it. I overheard he talking to his friend and saying if I didn't like it, then, oh well, there's no interest like self-interest. I'm going to try to talk to him again. How do I approach this? What do I say? Where do I start? Edit. We've tried therapy before as he's cheated in the past. He refused to continue when he was being held accountable for his actions. His actions are very confusing. He's saying these disrespectful things but still saying he loves me and is acting like everything is fine. It's confusing, manipulative and toxic. Edit. I am on the road for work but will respond to comments as soon as I can. Very much appreciate all of the insightful and helpful responses. Red heart. I think he is planning on hanging out and traveling with his two buddies. He's telling you he's going to do whatever he wants, which likely includes cheating again. This is not a man invested in his marriage. Sorry, but I don't think another conversation is going to help. He seems absolutely done with the marriage and any care for you. Nothing he said indicates any interest in your wants or needs. He is basically pushing you out. I think you leave. Maybe he eventually realizes what he lost, but I wouldn't count on it. I would start quietly planning my exit. I can't help but wonder whether he got sucked into the manosphere. I've been going through the comments. My first thought as I was reading what you wrote is he's cheating on you, and that was before I read he actually did it before. I've been married twice, both cheated and both started fights out of the blue and were disrespectful and mean. Not saying he is, but something is up. So, 14-year age gap and he's cheated in the past? Let him have this whatever attitude by serving him divorce papers. Then you're both free. Who owns the house? Who pays the bills? Is he foolish enough to think you are going to stay home and maintain a house for him to come home to when he gets tired of his extracurricular activities? I am considerably older than your husband, and I know a bit about the challenges most of us face as we get older. You are 15 years younger than him. Maybe you aren't ready to retire yet, or you just want to keep working, or you have to keep working. When you are 60, he will be 75. If you wait to retire until you are 65, he will be 80. Please do not get stuck spending your own retirement years being his nurse and housekeeper and cook and chauffeur, taking him to all his medical appointments. You need to think about this right now and plan for your own independent retirement. Family lawyer now. You have a lot of living left to do, and it shouldn't be with this guy. Give him all the freedom he wants.